Timing is everything. Good evening, all. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday. And you're all very welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. Colonel Fork, that was amazing timing, my dude. Awesome stuff. So, is tonight going to be a night of nights? We don't know, because Asobo and Microsoft have just released a new patch. About 15 gigabytes of download. It could be good. Could be awful, but it could be good. So, we're on the ground here in Spain. Welcome to Spain. It's nice this time of year. We're in a place called Almeria, which is down the south. The ICAO code is Lima Echo Alpha Mike. And I've been out of here a few times in the real life. Not flying, mind you. Well, I've been flown, but I wasn't flying. So yeah, let's see what happens, shall we? Our plan is we're going to head over the Sierra Nevada, kind of a desert and mountainous range, really nice looking. Hope to get some decent scenery. We're going to head over to Granada to check out the sights. Once we get to Granada, which is Lima Echo Golf Romeo, we'll open it up to multiplayer, and we were to head down to Malaga, but seemingly Malaga doesn't exist. It's just poof, disappeared. Great planning by Murphy. So I picked an alternative. So we're going to a place called Leone Banabu, and I'll try and pronounce this. It could go really bad. La Axarchia. Sounds right. Just to be sure, it's Lima Echo Alpha X-Ray. So let's see how that turns out, shall we? I've also noticed with the new update, my second screen here is nothing but kind of jitters and stutters. So I'm going to be very busy hitting the little refresh button here beside me. But apart from that, it's grand. It's a two-tone Murphy stream. What could possibly go wrong? As he eagerly checks his internet connection speed. So with that said, it's time to say hello to some people. Angela Howarth is here. Hello Angela, happy Wednesday. Dagrin Gaming is here as well, as is McCartan Coy. Good evening to you all, I hope you're all keeping very well. Ed Reed is here. Good evening to you, Ed. Many thanks for stopping by. Philip Breen is here, as is S. Voigt. Good evening to you, Scott. Oh, it could be one of them nights. Matthew Heeds is here as well. Good evening to you. Philip Breen says, well, I forgot about the update, so hopefully it's done in time for the group flight. Here's hoping. Yeah, so I forgot all about Malaga. And Malaga's nice, like, don't get me wrong, but it's just not included in the sim. However, I am aware they're going to be adding it as a third-party add-on, and seemingly Asobo are obviously aware of it, and they need to do stuff. There are a number of airports deliberately not included, mainly because they might have military activity, which makes, I suppose, sense. But then other airports have military activity as well? No, we'll see. Kenneth Norton saying good evening. Well, not sure with this mandatory update, he says. We're in uncharted territory. We are all beta testers tonight. So let's see how it all turns out. Arnold Aaron is here, just opening Flight Sim 2020, and now it's downloading an update. I've already found one or two issues with the update, and it's literally only after sat here for a few minutes. It's not a bad update. Well, we'll see. Mal Walsh is here as well. Good evening to you, Mal. Hope you're keeping well, dude. And yeah, happy Wednesday to you. As Coley205 rambles in. Ailerons Into the Wind is here as well. Good evening to you. Microsoft and Asobo said that they'll be doing they'll be doing the world little by little. I've read that too. Every kind of 2 months they said they're going to throw them all in. Got Border Collies is here, says awesome tunes. Many thanks. Kenneth says update Wednesday more like. Kendra is here as well. Good evening to you, Kendra. I hope you're keeping well. As is Tam. Hello, Tam. Daza T Arab says good evening. Just downloading the patch now, which is a slow one. Might have to do a restart. Let's fingers crossed, toes crossed, arms, legs, and light a candle. Patrick Cullen is here as well. Still waiting on an update. Doubt he'll be joining tonight. That's okay, Patrick. Let's see how we go. It could be good. Ankit is here as well. Good evening to you, as is Vic. Hey Murph, how can I start a flight without the game putting me right away on the runway? So when you select the airport, or if you click it, click either on See All Options or Zoom to Details, or on the top left, when you do select your airport, you'll see the airport on the top left hand side of your screen. Click below where it says the runway, and you want to go down to parking. If you select a parking spot, you'll start in a cold and dark situation, which is cool. Jam Fjord is here as well. Good evening to you, my dude. Happy Wednesday, as is Nick Herbert. Hello, Nick. Gabriel Dillon is here as well. How's it going? Ryan Beatty says, good evening, everyone. Getting my PC tower next week. Nice. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Giggity giggity, says Ailerons into the wind. But yeah, so we'll have to see. As I said, there are some little issues. Hello, plane. There are some little issues. So I can see, like, encoding and rendering lags. It looks okay. Famous last words. Let's see what happens, and sure, look it. If it all goes terribly wrong, sure, it'd be grand. 6 Nuts is here as well. Good evening to you, 6 Nuts. So we're going to say a quick hello to some peoples. And then we're going to get the show on the road, as we tend to do on a Wednesday evening. So a shout out to all the wonderful people over on Twitch, for which we have many, many subscribers. There's 37 of you guys subscribed over on Twitch, and nearly 1,000 followers, which is just like, hang on, what, when? And to all the lovely people watching here on YouTube, for which there's almost 3,000 of you. I remember back in like the early days, a couple of months ago, when there was like 10s or even 20s, and I was thinking, oh, that's, you know, we all shared this kind of wonderful and weird, strange kind of a hobby. And now there's almost 3,000. So it's going crazy. So of that, we have to say hello to some of the peoples here also on YouTube. So we have a number of different tiers for subscribers. But of course, absolutely not necessary or not required. It's up to you if you want to support the channel financially. Otherwise, your support is, well, you being here and me being here, and I don't have to look at a blank screen all night. I can see loads of texts, which are from peoples. So, for the flight crew people, Ethan Short, Andy Shaw, Neville Johnson, Sticky Rice 82, Shivam, and Ludos. Thank you all so very, very much for your support and for your continued support. I do appreciate it. As to the co-pilots, well, we have Scott Voigt, we have the Vidya Crusader, Jim Oates, Brian Spain, Philip Breen, and Patrick Cullen. Thank you all so very, very much. And cheers and sláinte. You're all brilliant. And fantastic and wonderful people. And thank you all so very, very much. And with that said, the tail number we've gone for, being Spanish, is Echo Charlie, Charlie Romeo Uniform, which is a tip of the hat to the Vidya Crusader. I couldn't fit in the Video Crusader, so we just went with EC Crew. So many thanks. See, I was inventful and creative. Yes, inventful and creative. That's what it's all about. Kieran Nile is here as well. Colonel Fork says, Murphy Air Corps Twitch Squadron. Yes. It could go either way, though. It could go either way. Willie Bog is here. Good evening to you, Willie Bog. Creeper MC. Shout out to my guy behind bars. Wagwan. Very good. Jawaku is here. Just downloading the latest patch, he says. Just 5 gigs to go. Hope to be on later tonight. Happy days, my dude. Arnold Aaron says 3,000. I wonder how many marriages are now on the rocks due to Flight Sim 2020. I agree. We'll have to see. Spaceman 11 is here as well. He says, I'll buy the RTX 3080 if I can find one in stock tomorrow. They look impressive. I've been looking at some of the benchmarks they're doing, and in comparison to the GTX 1080 Ti, they blow it out of the water. So it'll be interesting to see how good or how bad it'll be in relation to the 2080 Ti, which is the one I have. I'm hoping it'll be good or better. We shall see. Joel Edwards is here. I want to see Benidorm and Alicante Airport, please. We're not heading that way tonight, but soon, my dude, soon. So as I said, we're on the ground here in Almeria. We're going to head over Sierra Nevada, which is this region here, up to Granada. And Granada is nice because it's pretty much surrounded by kind of mountains. So when we fly out of Granada, we're going to head over this direction, and then further down to this direction, over to Marbella, and check out maybe Porto Banús, and then down into Gibraltar. And be mindful, in Gibraltar, there's a big rock there. You might hit it. You have to be careful. So with that said, fingers crossed, hope everything works. If there's jutters or stutters or, you know, I'm doing the whole thing movement, well, just let me know in the chat and I'll try and fix it. It looks a little bit stuttery there. And would you believe I figured out what that is? But I can't fix it. Well, I can, but like I don't want to. Not tonight. I'll fix it tomorrow. So to get this Cessna 172 up and running, we'll talk about the patch notes shortly, and what they've done and what they haven't done. So we'll have to wait and see. So to get this machine started, we need to turn on the battery. So battery and alternator can come on. Get our beacon lights and nav lights turned on here as well. Park and brake is set. Our fuel shut-off valve is now clicked in. Our mixture, by default it was in. We'll move it out and back in again. And we're going to push in our throttle about 1/8 of an inch, which is what we need to do. Now, is there anyone here we're going to run over? No, Johnny has his back to us and all is looking well. That should be good. The Video Crusader is here. Get her lit. Coley says, waiting for an update, 15 gigs to go. The actual comparison should be with the 2080, which is going to be awesome, says Scott. Yes, I agree. Jay's 2 cents did a good review this morning. I must check that one out. We shall see. Alan Mead says, evening all. The cooling for the Founders Edition was very good. Well, I have to say the cooling on the 2080 Ti is not great. Them cards run hot. Quite hot. Gop Slayer's here as well. He says, hey Murph, hey Gop. Happy Wednesday, dude. As is Daniel Guberman. Good evening to you. So we're going to turn on our fuel pumps here to get a read on our fuel, which is here, which is working. That is all well. So we're going to turn our magnetos on here. We're going to say clear prop, and we'll clear the prop. So we have a good start on the engine. Keep the RPMs down just below 1,000. That looks positive. Now, I was doing some testing last night, and all sorts of crazy things started happening with the textures. So I don't know, will it happen again tonight? We'll see. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if it does, well, we're well accustomed on how to fix things as we wait for the little beep. Mike is here as well. Good evening to you, my dude. Paul Richard says, watching Murph has made me decide to go to PC after years of X-Plane on iMac. First part of the PC build tomorrow. If I can find a 3080, then decide on the CPU. Nice one, dude. It's always great fun building PCs, and like if you can build them yourself, even better. Or if you know someone who build them for you, you're going to be pretty much laughing. So we shall see what's going to happen here now. Not liking all the stutters. I'm getting rendering lags, which is never good. Let's jump outside here. Like, I suppose it's kind of okay-ish. Like, I don't know, you guys let me know. Maybe it's just on my side, and I'm all paranoid and stuff. Because that wouldn't be, like, unique. It really lags inside here, look. And, like, that's since the patch. I know I was doing a little bit kind of the day before yesterday, but, like, this is down to the patch. Ian Hannon says, hi Murph, could you follow the coast to Almerimar? And then go north to Granada. I go on holidays there every year, except for this year. Cool. Tom Jr. is here. Good evening to you. Dazza says, I built my own PC, which is fun, but also scary when you first hit the power button. Daniel says, it is a bit jittery, or juddery. The Chasman is here. He says, hello from New York. I was not at work. If I was not at work, I would fly with you. That's okay, Chasman. Do Nvidia UK ship to Ireland? Asks Patrick Cullen. Yes, I do believe so. Piate says, just pre-order the Quest 2 instead of the HP. Let's hope it pays off. 100%. That could be interesting. Time shall tell. It is jittery, but sure, listen. We'll get used to it. And once we get over to Granada, sure, we'll be restarting the machine anyway. So we're going to go to GPS mode on. Oh god, it's really jittery, isn't it? Oh dear. It'll be fine. So Almeria, I do like this airport. They kind of leave you outside when the plane arrives, and you get to queue up outside waiting to kind of board it. Which is always nice because it's kind of your last kind of impressions of Spain before, well, they kind of send you home again. And it's really nice because the sea is right beside it. And takeoffs and landings here are interesting. Especially if it is windy, because you get great crosswinds here. So taxiway is a little bit on the bumpy side. Scott says it looks pretty okay on YouTube. Yeah, let's hope it stays that way. And again, like, I don't know, this could be it could be an OBS thing. I used to use Streamlabs. Well, that was back in the good old X-Plane days, and then I started using OBS. So if it doesn't work, well, sure, we'll always jump back to something else. But the stubbornness in me just says it'll be grand. Smooth on Twitch says Colonel Fork. Cool. So I think how it works is if you have rendering lag on OBS, if you guys are interested in streaming, rendering lag is due to how the graphics are being rendered. Encoding lag, I believe, is to do with the processor. And with the specs being beefy on this, and you know, for my experience using the sim, it's flawless. It's running away at. Well, I have it locked. If I unlocked it, we'd probably be getting into the 70s with frames. Which earlier on, well, just before I went live, that's about 5 or 6 more FPS based in comparison to the first patch. So we shall wait and see. So as we taxi out and along here, up the side of the taxiway. Scott says there was a lot of stutter as you passed the last taxi, but yeah, and I reckon if I do this, it'll stutter like mad as well. Although not too bad, but then it stutters again. Yeah, whatever, we'll get used to it. We'll figure it out as we go along. Joel Edwards says, I've been a PlayStation man since 1995, but I think I'll be switching to Xbox for this game. I agree. Ian Hannon says, in 2005, Aer Lingus flew into Almeria. It lasted 2 years, and then Ryanair took over the route. Daniel M198 is here. He says, hola, Murph. How was your Wednesday? Wednesday so far has been kind of okay. Yes, it's the middle of the week, which means I am looking forward to the weekend, but at the same time, I'm kind of bummed out because there's 2 days left to go. I'm very much a I look forward to the weekend kind of guy. But apart from that, all is well. I was in work today. The creak in my neck is almost gone. That's positive. And yes, I'm delighted that we have a new patch here. So what has the patch actually done? Well, on Murphy's machine, it's kind of made things go a little bit strange. But again, that could be an OBS issue now, because I know they said this patch, its main focus was on optimization. So we'll have to wait and see how well optimized it is. There's still a couple of bugs here and there. Like, that's encoding lags I'm getting there now. Like, that's just what? But we'll wait and see. There are a number of things. Like, up in your main menu here, they've added this to toggle live pause, and it's not really fitting right. When I saw it earlier on, I was like, is this the automatic replay? Is this like the replay mode? No, it wasn't. So that was kind of unfortunate. What else did they add? Well, they've added other bits and bobs. We'll go through them now in a while. They've done a lot of the avionics and flight characteristics of the aircraft. So we'll have to wait and see. So we're going to ramble here onto the runway. Runway 25. Behave now. Okay, so we're squawking. Stuttery, but we're squawking. Okay, mixture 2 rich, don't need flaps, squawk, lights, everything good to go. Let's boogie. So power is set. Let's see what happens here once we get airborne. So Daniel, how was your Wednesday going? Airspeed live, 60 knots, pull back on the stick. We're airborne. Thomas, are we able to use custom liveries tonight after the update? No. That problem not fixed. Most definitely not fixed, unfortunately. Now, they did say they were working on some server optimization as well, but that one issue in particular, not fixed. So we will have to wait and see. So as we depart here from Almeria, it does look kind of nice. I think it's Pilots back in X-Plane 11 did a fantastic add-on for X-Plane 11 for Almeria. Pilots LEAM Almeria. And they did phenomenal work. So we shall wait and see. Philip Breen says, doubt to be joined tonight only on 2.2 gigs. Lol. That's okay, Philip, not to worry. Don't forget, guys, we'll be back here on Friday as well. Tom JR says, would you rather X-Plane or Flight Sim 2020? It's a good question, but I will say this. At the moment, and it's only at the moment, autopilot, navigation, autopilot, 4,500 at 600 feet per minute, please. At the moment, because of my my woe when it comes to performance, I would like X-Plane, because X-Plane runs so smooth with the Vulkan update. And if you guys have never seen X-Plane before, I'd be very happy to stream it, because Microsoft is a great introduction point into the world of flight simulation. And give it time, like it's in its infancy, its absolute infancy. Give it time, this thing is going to be wonderful. But there are certainly parts of X-Plane that will be superior, not necessarily from the eye candy department on how well things look or how good things look or sound, but overall in relation to the well, you can't say physics, but when it comes to like the systems modeling, X-Plane is really up there. So I reckon 600 feet per minute is going to be good here. We need to clear about 4,000 feet for these. Let's see what happens. Ed Reed says, two-tone size of the patch, please. So it's like a 600 megabyte download through the Microsoft Store app first, and then when you jump into the sim, it's just under 16 gigabytes of space required to update. I was lucky, it took 32 minutes. It's not often I praise my internet, so take that as you will. Philip Breen says, I hope they patch this patch. Yes. Arlinsky is here. He says, hey Murph, how's Crusader Kings 3 going for you? I haven't played much of it since. I'm mad to play it. It's a real... you just get hooked in it. It's an intriguing game, and it's all about stories and a little bit of role-playing, I suppose, but it's very interesting. You guys should definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's confusing. There's a learning curve, like, but it's good. David Dearden is here, just downloading the patch now. Nice to see that they still haven't figured out how to let me mute the sound on the launcher. If you're on Windows, bottom right hand corner, right click the little speaker icon, go to Mixer Settings, and then you can just turn down the sound coming out of that application. That should do the job, my dude. So your little speaker down the bottom right hand side on the taskbar, right click it, go to Mixer Options or like Open Sound Mixing or one of them, and that should open up like your browser, your Explorer, and yada yada yada, and you'll see Microsoft Flight Sim, and just bring the slider down. I hope that works. We shall see. Joe Blow Photo was here. Good evening to you, Joe. Happy Wednesday, my dude. Philip Rain says 15 gigs Ed, but it's 11 gigs for me on standard. Of course. So if you're on the Premium Deluxe, there are more aircraft, therefore the size will be bigger. If you're on the Standard Edition, you have a handful of less aircraft. That would make total sense. Ethan Short said, hey Murph, how's it going? It's going well, Ethan, my friend. I hope you're keeping well, my dude. Happy Wednesday. Daniel says, Was you being in the doghouse the reason for the neck problem? No. Or maybe it was. Maybe in my sleep, Mrs. Two-Tone Murphy decided to say, so let's see how he sleeps with no pillow, shall we? And then that could explain a lot. She'd be buying me flowers and chocolates next. Oh, the simulated humanity and horror of the lag. Video Crusader has donated through the super chat. Just finished a 3-day work project and haven't been able to touch my yoke. Tonight is the night for freedom. I see what you did there. Many thanks for your support, my dude. Scott says, in old military terms, walking, talking, and squawking. You know, you can do the talking and squawking. But can you do the walking? No, I can't do it. But we will get better as the night goes on. We're still on the Dingle Gin. It's lasting probably longer than what I would have expected. But that's okay. Arnold Aaron asks, Two-Tone, what frames do you typically get, say, in the A320? I'm getting 50 to 60 on in a single engine steam dial cockpit, but glass I'm getting around 30. The A320, the non-edited version, 50 to 60 usually, but you know, it would depend. Where am I flying, the type of weather, all this kind of stuff. But yes, the steam gauges should be better on your frames. So much so. Ivan is here. Good evening to you. He says, evening, Two-Tone Murphy. Happy Wednesday, Ivan. Daniel says, I heard the physics were better on the X-Plane games. Well, it's more to do with perhaps aircraft behavior. The physics is kind of the wrong word to say. I mean, on paper, Microsoft Flight Sim, the physics should be way up there. Like, they have so many different kind of sensors built into the wings and how they detect what the air is doing, and also the, you know, the lookup files of the aircraft. The old FSX says, you know, you often hear people saying it felt like it flew on rails, which wasn't great. But with this one, they've upgraded the entire flight modelling. And it is good, don't get me wrong, this is good, it's very predictable. X-Plane, again, they're stock aircraft maybe. Like, if you're looking at a third-party developer, in particularly the good ones, well, they put a lot of time and effort, an awful lot of time and effort, into perfecting how the sim replicates the behavior of the aircraft, if that makes sense. Physics in an aircraft, we can't feel them. Like, there's, even in a level, well, maybe in a level D you might feel them, but there's no load-bearing experience in a sim. What I mean by that is, you can't, you know, your stomach isn't giving you butterflies like when you go over a hill or whatever in a car. Your spatial awareness was being kind of moved around if you're in turbulence. The weight of the controls and what pressures to apply in every possible direction, it's just not there in a sim. Doesn't make it bad, it just means from a physics point of view, maybe not so much. Joseph Gambino is here. He says, hi Murph, how's the patch up, or how is the Microsoft Flight Sim patch updated today? It's kind of okay. I'm having issues, but they're OBS issues, I believe, so let us see. Ed says, I reckon, I think dynamics would be a better word than physics. Yeah, I would agree. Mark Keating is here. He says, howdy from Mayo. Howdy from Tip. Mark, good evening to you. Murph, you need to go higher than this. What charts were you reading? 7,000 feet, please. $7,000 feet, yes, yes. That should do. We'll jump back to our little view here. Karen asks, have they fixed the autopilot? They would have appeared to have fixed the autopilot, yes. My initial testing for a couple of minutes before I went live on the TBM, it is behaving itself. On the 320 and on the G36 Bonanza, it is definitely behaving itself. Daniel Goodman says, my PC can't even run CSGO, no chance with any flight sims. Too bad, my dude. Maybe wait for console. Jim Oates is here. Good evening to you. He says, hi everyone. Hope the week is treating you all well. How How are you, Jim? Papa Joe B is here as well. He says, hi Murph, good evening to you. Hello, Papa Joe B. Happy Wednesday, my dude. David Shanahan is here as well. How are you? Ivan says, evening two-tone, sorry I'm late. Personal admin getting in the way of your stream. I will try not to let that happen again. That's okay, Ivan. You're not late, for you arrive precisely when you're supposed to. And anyone who gives out about that, tell them to go away. Daza Arab says, but Mrs. Murphy doesn't want an £8,000 GPU. Oops. Thanks, Daza. Just, yeah, I'll stay under the bus here. John Walsh is here. He says, how are you? How are you, John? Happy Wednesday, my dude. Kenna says, you could be playing with fire, Mr. Murphy. Indeed, I could. Flight dynamics as opposed to physics. Yeah. Question, is X-Plane out of the box better, or is it due to all the third-party mods? Out of the box, it's not better. What X-Plane can do is interesting. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of graphics, the overall look, sounds, out of the box, no, it's not. I will say it runs very, very smooth, though, as in you just don't have that experience in any other sim at the moment. Which is an absolute pat on the back and huge kudos to Laminar Research, because that was the biggest problem they've always had. The sims stuttered. Even micro stutters. They were just tiny little things, and this sim does it all the time. This sim does not run nearly as smooth as X-Plane. But again, it's very hard comparing like with like. They are kind of different platforms. With X-Plane, for example, for me to be in this situation in X-Plane, I would have to use a third-party aircraft. Careful here, Murph. I would have to use a third-party aircraft. My rendering. I would have to have terabytes of data. I would have to have, custom airports. I'd have to have possible mod shader, or what are they called? Yeah, shaders, to make everything look nice. I would definitely have to have custom weather. So out of the box, to have as close to this experience as you're getting, the price of X-Plane I think is still in the region of $50 to $60. You would want to add at least another $100 to that just to meet this, which is kind of unfortunate the way things are at the moment.
That's a big 10-4, good buddy.
As Samuel Dye has become a member. Many thanks, Samuel. Really appreciate it, my dude. Cheers and sláinte to you. Aidan Darley Aviation is here. He says, how are you, Murph? Sorry I'm late. I had homework to do. Any crack, and where are you off to? That's okay, Aidan Darley Aviation. Good evening to you. And I hope you did your homework all correct and you've checked and rechecked. We're in Spain, southern Spain to be precise. We've just taken off from Almeria, and we're going to head over to a place called Granada. From Granada, we're going to head south, near enough to Malaga, which isn't there, seemingly enough. Then we're going to fly over Marbella, and then down to Gibraltar, or Gibraltar. Scott says, on a level D, you do feel them. Yeah, you're pretty much... And even... But level D, I think, is more the... kind of the ground move, I suppose. But yeah, if they have the force feedback or whatever in the controls, yeah, you'll feel them. Colonel Fork says, there's no seat-of-the-pants feel in Sims. Well, I disagree only a little bit. And the reason I'm saying that, if you have like a racing sim, Project Cars 2, I suppose, or a set of Corsa, in VR, they're amazing. And like, they're amazing. The only thing you're missing is obviously, the car shaking, the forces on your body, and the smell of the car. That's it. Everything else is there. But when you're using that in VR, you're so immersed, you don't really care for them, because like, as far as your brain is concerned, it's doing what it should do. Which is interesting. Paul Richards is here. He goes, as an X-Plane flyer, I'd say that the third-party planes from Airfoil Labs and IXEG, etc. are second to none. The scenery in Flight Sim, however, just wow. I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. So, like, okay, the aircraft...
Sorry, I couldn't find whoever just 12 in your music.
Weird. I need to be turning that off. Siri, I want to say hello to everyone. But I think in Microsoft Flight Sim, with the aircraft, they're better than entry level. And if, you know, once they figure out all the other bits and bobs they need to figure out, the avionics getting an update, the autopilot getting an update, they're going to be better. And like, again, they're paving the way for the bigger third-party developers to launch their aircraft. Like, put it this way, would PMDG release their 737 straight into Microsoft's Flight Sim, allowing the navigational system as it is currently now? I don't think so. Only because, well, they don't want to listen to why the sim is broken. So these things take time, and like, considering from the date they announced this to the public to the date we can actually use the sim, and for the most part I would argue we can use this thing quite well. It's fantastic, like, it really is. It's an achievement within itself. But it's like the old Irish government saying, a lot done, a lot more to do. Space Crawler is here. He says, hi from Germany. Hello from Ireland, Space Crawler. Happy Wednesday to you, dude. Godden says, the hills are larger than expected, but lovely scenery. The hills are a little bit larger than I thought. Murphy gets 10 points for being able to read a chart. I was in work today and I didn't really know where to fly today. And I definitely didn't know they were launching the patch today. Because, well, they didn't say. So had he have known, I'd probably have done things a little bit different. But that's okay. We can wing it, as we tend to do. So jump back down here. Now, the performance in said aircraft should be a little bit better. We shall see. Joseph Gambino says, I'm updating Microsoft Flight Sim right now, 15.69 gigs. Cool. Dazza says, just kidding, Murph. That's okay, Dazza. Kevin M is here. He says, hey, Murph. Just had a packed day of meetings at work and looking forward to some Spanish flying. Cool. You're very welcome along, Kevin. Happy Wednesday to you, dude. Dazza says, I had about 6 terabytes of ortho for X-Plane. That makes with all the add-ons way crazy. Yeah, I agree. Like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 external hard drives just for X-Plane. Nothing else, just X-Plane. Like, it's nuts. And the headache you have, that scenery or the orthos, you probably have to download it every 2 to 3 years to keep it current. So, a little bit annoying. The things you do for Flight Sim. Aiden Darley says, yeah, about the homework, let's just say it was very bad. Sean O'Sullivan says, since you're a two-tone man, did you hear about Toots Hibbert? No, I did not. Scott says, level D, you have force feedback and you have full motion on the sim that'll make you feel that you're really moving. If programmed correctly, they even do upset training in them. Cool, as in upside down. John Fjord says, I was excited about joining this flight. I love the area, but I won't be doing any flying at this rate. Only 250 megs out of 11.5 gigs. But don't worry, we'll come back here soon. And do you ever have like a sneaky suspicion the stream is just going to go, aha? Because I've never seen kind of encoding issues. So if it does go offline for whatever reason, just give it a couple of minutes and we'll figure out something. And if not, I will jump out that door. Kieran Niles says, will you get VR? Yeah, probably. I would hope so. Davin Crawford is here. Well then, Murph, how are you today? I hope you're well, bud. Many thanks, Davin. Yeah, keeping well, my dude. We have a new patch here in Microsoft Flight Sim. It's a little bit shaky on my system. Now, when I say it's shaky, right, I need to kind of qualify that statement. The sim is running pretty much smooth as butter, and it looks brilliant. However, on the stream, or my little OBS preview thing, not so much. But I will say it was like that the first week they released the pre-release, if you know what I mean. So there's something there just for something to catch up on, I would hope. Modern Tornado 81 is here as well. Good evening to you, dude. Sparker in VR is here on Twitch. I updated, but live weather is not matching the meta for my local airport. Correct. Live weather, I don't believe, is running 100%. So they've patched the sim. The servers need to catch on because it gets the weather from the servers. So that's my understanding. Give it maybe 24 hours, Sparker, and if it's still not working, I would just file a bug report. Modern Tornado 81 says, what do you work as? I drive a desk for a transport and logistics company. Note, I say I drive a desk. I work in an office. Gap Slayer says, hey, there is an on-board option. Can you explain? Colonel Fork says, Hi-Fi Simulations just announced Rex 2020, a Metar-based weather engine for Microsoft Flight Sim. Cool. Keane Lafford is here. He says, hey Murph, sorry I'm late. Only 243 days to the Eurovision. I can feel it, Keane. This is getting mad. Okay. We can fix this. Now what's kind of strange, right? If I pull the mixer out any further, we're just going to lose the engine. So there's something not right here. Because a Cessna 172 should be able to do 10,000 feet. Well, it should do. And the EGT isn't behaving itself either. So, by my reckoning, the patch is going to need a patch for the patch. If that makes sense. And if all else fails, we'll just go in and do some X-Plane. Because even though you won't have the visual candy, it's running really well on Vulkan. Okay, let's build up our speed here and see what happens. Patrick Doyle says, Evening Murph, how much did your setup cost? It's very impressive. I could tell you, but my wife will have to kill you. It wasn't cheap. Microsoft and Asobo have achieved incredible things with Flight Sim, says Jam Fjord. I agree, but they need to get better at anticipating how the community will react to stuff like unexpected mandatory updates, considering how many people stream. Yeah. But again, because it's an online server-based system that you need a constant internet connection, everyone needs to be on singing off the same hymn sheet, I would imagine. Steve says, watch out for the birds. How's it going, Steve? 35? Happy Wednesday, dude. Philip Breen says, I'm halfway done. Runaway trim wheel. Coley says, update has been at 58% for the last 15 minutes. Give it time. Philip Breen says, this happened to me on the other stream. So annoying. Yeah. Spaceman 11 says, restart Flight Sim. If update gets stuck, it continues where it left off. I had to do it a couple of times. Aha. Barometer is set. Directional heading is set. EGT is running high, but like, okay, we're getting high RPM, as in we're absolutely to the max of the aircraft and what it's able to do. We're pretty much in almost level flight, and we're achieving 110 knots at full power. Doesn't seem right. Jamaku says, will you have to deviate your route to avoid the mountain? 100% we're going to have to do that, yes. I wasn't planning on, but yes, we'll have to deviate a little bit. We won't, well, we ain't going to get over this. But it's grand, we'll figure it out. It's the lag I don't like. Okay, Laffer says, there's a movie coming... No, he doesn't. He said, there's a movie being filmed here in the little town of Kerr. Apparently Matt Damon is going to be here. Cool. Kenan Lawton says, update hung at 5.73 gigs. Gil Klein says, are you leaning the mixture? Yep. Scott says, look at your temps. Temps appear to be okay. EGT is a little kind of high, but yeah. So if we were to look at mixture, we're currently running at 50%. That's giving me 2600 RPM, which is like the danger zone for the airplane. So like we're at absolute full power. And if I were to take out more mixture, you see the RPM drop, and the airplane just doesn't like that much. And if I were to add it all the way back in again, it would absolutely drop. It really doesn't like that. So kind of 45 to 50 is where it needs to be at. Andrew Monica is here. He says, Murph, didn't realise you were on until now. How's it going? It's going all right. Temps on the PC, actually, just to make things real interesting. 77 degrees. So, I don't know, when they say optimization, I think maybe the verdict is still out on that. But it could be worse. No cowl on this. No cowl option on the 172 from what I can see. We've carbon heat. We've cabin air. You used to do that in a car. If your engine was overheating, open up your air vents. It used to help a little bit. Pre-update, I've climbed up to at least 11,500. Yeah, just something not really adding up. But it's fine, we'll figure it out. We don't get too excited. Throttle seems not to be in all the way. No, it's 100%. Fear not, we'll figure it all out. Patrick Doyle says, tell your wife, if she tells me how much you set up the cost, I'll buy you a new airplane. Kenneth says, the RPM is too high. The max RPM will drop the altitude due to manifold pressure. Decrease or something wrong with the patch, probably. There is something slightly wrong. Like, I can lower the RPM, but it's not good. Like, it's a constant speed prop, yeah? So even by lowering the RPM, I'm going to be losing torque, I suppose. It'll cool down. Trump said about the wildfires in California. They're mad looking, aren't they? The fires in California, like, it's so sad, like, when you see the level of destruction, and like there's people getting hurt there as well. So my heart absolutely goes out to them. So if any of you guys are over that neck of the woods and you know, things aren't good for you, our thoughts are with you. Space Crawler says, 12 gigs to go. Damfior says, to be fair, 172s do vary in performance in real life, depending on the age and how well they've been looked after. I agree. But I like from an AccuSim perspective, it's not implemented in these, so performance is a little bit off. Godden says ATC is going nuts. New altitude every 5 seconds. They have added more voices to the ATC. Androbonica says, yeah, the air quality here is horrific. That's too bad, dude. Wookie is here. He says, hi Murph. Sitting down with an Indian curry tonight. No pineapple. You can have like mango chicken out of the Indian. That's quite nice. C35 says the smoke in California is coming out over parts of Canada. Whoa. Androbonica says it looked like Mars a few days ago, still hazy with smoke and grey skies. You're just outside of LA. Bill Klein has become a member. Many thanks, my dude. You're very welcome along here. I hope you're enjoying the stream in all its kind of robotic jitteriness. So let's see what happens here if we try to do something. This could be good. It doesn't look too bad. Spaceman 11 says, update completed. On my way. Nice, dude. Scott says, spent 5 years at NTD and enjoyed Ventura County. Close enough to get to LA if I needed to, 35 minutes to Malibu. Cool. Patrick Cullen says, nearly at 3,000 subs. Would be great to get the extra 100 subs tonight for Murph. Ah, thanks, Patrick. I don't know how likely that is, but sure. We shall see. Okay, get ready for some stutters. Oh, it's horrible, it's God. Oh, it's awful. But the view is nice. Ed Reed says, I wonder if the algorithm Microsoft used for density altitude were correct. Should be. Speaking of which, we can resume on course. You see, at times it absolutely behaves itself. So we'll give it some time. We won't get too excited or delighted just yet. Spain, by the way, if you guys have ever been there, is absolutely stunning. Fugros1 says, where are you from, Murph? I can't place the accent. I'm from Dublin in Ireland. I married a girl from County Kildare. I spent a lot of time in County Kerry, and I live now in County Tipperary. And my day job is in County Kildare. I'm well travelled. Andrew says, I installed the F-18 the other night, did a flight from San Diego to Point Mugu. Fun stuff, can't wait for that to get better flight dynamics. There's an absolute tonnage of new aircraft due to come out for Microsoft Flight Sim. Don't forget guys, if you're new here, you might consider liking, subscribing, or even following the channel. It would be greatly appreciated and put a big smile on my face. Sparker in VR says, what part of Spain are you flying? This is southern Spain, and pretty much the very southeast, as we kind of head northwest to Granada and then southwest back down to Gibraltar. Gibraltar, of course, being I suppose a state, or it's part of the United Kingdom. Tam says, is multiplayer opening up at Granada or Malaga? It is going to open up at Granada. The Buzz is here. Evening, Captain Murphy. Are we off to sunny Spain? Viva España! Granada says it's part of the Commonwealth. Scott Briggs says, I even did an ILS runway 6 right at LAX. It worked fine. Cool. Bad Dog is here. He says, hi Murph. Good evening from Cheltenham. How's it going, Bad Dog? He's not a bad dog. He's a great dog. I still need to work on that accent. Keen Leopard asks, are the Aztec temples modelled in the sim? I didn't see them. But I haven't been over their neck of the woods yet, so I'm unsure. Oh, look at that. It seems to be behaving itself now. There aren't any stutters. It's a modern day miracle. Okay, there's a few stutters. But it's nowhere near as bad. Okay, they're coming back now. I jinxed it. Ah, well. We were doing good for a couple of minutes. As I said, flying the 172 and the autopilot buttons seem to be out of place. Ooh. Is that on the G1000 version? Malwell says, I can't believe your performance is disappointing you, your PC specs being as high as you can get. But just to clarify that, Mal, it's not the performance of the sim I'm kind of moaning at. It's the performance of the stuttering I'm getting whilst recording the sim, if that makes sense. It's OBS is kind of like a broadcasting studio. Well, it is a broadcasting studio. That's the software I use to kind of record what I'm doing and pushing it onto the internet so you lovely people can see. And there is a bit of performance degradation only in OBS. On my screen, on my main screen where the sim is, it's butter smooth. Tasman asks, any idea when VR is coming? Soon. Very soon. If it's not out in October, it definitely will be here in November. Andrew Noble is here. He says, hello, Mr. Murphy. Hello, Mr. Noble. Good evening and happy Wednesday, my dude. G1000 seems to happen when you zoom out a bit in the cockpit. Seems okay if you zoom right in. Is that a new problem, does it? Bit of Breen says 8.18 gigs. Scott says, I just did KSFO to LAX on Ultra, didn't have a single stutter. No, it's 100% guys, the sim is running well. I really should have clarified that a bit better. But if you guys see stuttering on my system, I can absolutely guarantee it, my sim is running just fine. It's only the recording software that's having a few issues. But it's grand, we'll figure them out. We'll try and fix them. Okay. So we gotta get ourselves sorted out here. As it says, also seeing some weird lines in the scenery. Ooh, it's never good. Andrew Bronica says, what's the ETA for multiplayer? Probably about 10 minutes. Tasman says, I just pre-ordered the Quest 2 myself. I still love my old Quest. VR is going to be absolutely amazing. As it says, might give it a restart and see what happens. Yeah, sound advice, dude. Jan Fior says, what about Portugal for a future stream? There's a tiny little airstrip just inland from Porto. It's nearly impossible to land without tumbling down a steep slope at the end of the runway. I found to my cost. That sounds interesting. Yeah, we'll definitely give that one a shot. Boise says, can you fly over Malaga Airport? We should get close to it. Lucy Lee is here, or Lucy Lai. Land, land, land. Scott Brick says, well, or he says, I was well chuffed that this thing ran on Ultra. Not expecting that. Yeah, no, it's performance-wise, it's pretty good. Just need to kind of figure it all out. He who does with the most toys wins. Okay, now the sim is stuttering. Androbonica says, speaking of Portugal, how about a flight to the Azores? Yeah, the Azores, that'd be cool. Watch our speed here. Skyflight Bry is here. Good evening to you. Landing challenge has changed to Nice, correct. Tam says, ready and waiting in Granada. Yeah, there's kind of weirdness happening. I thought it was my speed, but it's not. And the frames in the sim have taken a massive hit. So I reckon there's something not agreeing with it, alright. Androbonica says, my sister-in-law's family and many people from my hometown in Massachusetts are from the Azores. Cool. Jamfior says, island hopping in the Azores sounds like a perfect evening. It really does. Might do that on Friday, guys. That does sound interesting. Space Crawler says, so guys and girls, I have to go to bed now. Have a good flight. Space Crawler, you take it easy out there. And many thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one. I really need to restart this sim. It's doing all kinds of crazy now. The definitive showing off the Microsoft Flight Sim channel is Two-Tone Murphy. And we're getting woeful performance. Granada says crashed again. Oh dear. But Breen, I like that positive attitude. He said apart from the stutters, the place does look great. It really does. It looks beautiful. It looks very nice. Ed Reed says, does cars look like ants? Oh wait, they are ants. Danny Goodman says, you seem lower than normal today, or is it me? I'm good, dude. I'm just trying to figure out in my brain what's causing the sim to stutter and my OBS. So I might be a little bit preoccupied, but all is good, my dude. It's great to see that we got a patch. Probably not great to see that it's at the moment it's not doing what I thought it would have been doing, but it's all good. And again, like there's the stutter's kind of gone now, so whatever it was, it kind of fixed itself. Okay, altitude, that's good enough for me. So let's see here, shall we? It's going to be a right turn. Autopilot off. Let's have a gawk out here, look for a runway. And you guys see an airport around here? Stutters are pretty much gone. It's probably my system acting up. Oh, there's the runway there. Yoink. Right bank. King Effort says, I can't believe it's already Wednesday. Only felt like Monday was 2 days ago. That's a good point you're making, Kenneth. He says, Murph, probably because everyone is trying to get the updates. I never thought of that. The servers are they're going to go bananas, considering roughly a third of the size of the entire sim, for most, is being pushed out on the servers. Okay. We're going to put our face cam on here for the dramatic effect. Although the airport does look, well, I can't say it looks easy, but it looks rather straightforward to land at. Is this indeed photogrammetry? It's not really far off it. Let's see. Okay, speed is a little bit high, Murph. You need to bring that one back. Have they took away the pointless press the any key to continue in the upgrade? No. No, it's still there. Ed Reed says, Murph, I mentioned that earlier. Sorry, Ed, I didn't see it. You and Kenneth both are equal geniuses. But yeah, it is a very valid point. I imagine the servers are under pressure. Andrew Monica says about 35% done. Skyfly Bryce says, I'm going to wait a few days because I believe updates will be updated again with better update, if not. Yeah, that's true. Okay, Murph, concentrate. The sim is now butter smooth, so we shall see. Okay, so we're going to bring our speed back here. Now again, this is a massive runway. It's Granada will be used to all sorts of massive aircraft flying in. Little Cessnas, not so much. We're going to go with one notch of flaps as we approach runway 27. Thank you yourselves here on the center line. What's your speed here, Murph? Just throttle back, hold the nose up. There is a bit of a slope on the runway. Leave that one off. There's touchdown. And we're down. Welcome to Granada. Bring our flaps back in here as well. Andrew says you can do 3 touch and goes on that runway. You just could. We'll get ourselves off the runway here. As we taxi back to the ramp. Quick look down here. Go ahead, turn our landing lights off. butter, he says. Yeah, that was pretty neat. Ed Reed says, but also consider this, you were watching this and trying to update at the same time. Too much work for the CPUs and RAM. I would agree, 100%. Skyfly says, I worked out why my flight sim didn't work the other night. I saw the Ethernet cable from my security camera and completely forgot it wasn't plugged in. Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, well, it appears to be behaving itself, but we're still going to give it a quick shutdown. I want to read down through the logs and see what it's doing. Because I like troubleshooting these things. Sorry, Van. Nothing to see here. It's all okay. It's not a bad looking little airport, this. Ken Gibbon says, but yeah, the Xbox game services are taking a bit of a hit for other games right now as well. Ah, cool, okay. That explains a lot. So, Park and Brake comes on. Jump down here to our machine and we're going to turn off our taxi and strobe lights. And we can turn our transponder now off. Avionics can come off. Cut the mixture. And the mags. We're on the ground in Granada. Cool. Well, that was kind of fun. Kinda. Where's this button? Do. What's this one? Josh Fennessy is here. Hi now, Sean, his friend. Hello, Josh Fennessy. Hope you're keeping well, my dude. Happy Wednesday. Talk Kaloon says, will I gain FPS with this update? I believe so, yes. Okay, so as I said, this is new. This toggle active pause. But there's no option to remove it from this. So that's there. What else? So in our graphics, we have something new. Glass cockpit refresh rate. I haven't seen that before. So that's to do with your G1000s. Higher values may affect performance. So that's currently defaulted mine to medium. Just a little disclaimer here as well. All my settings changed as well. So where everything was on ultra, a lot of them is kicked back to high. And that's why I don't understand why I'm having kind of poor performance. So let's see what happens if I put my settings back up to, well, where I usually have them. Trees, I'll leave them down. Volumetric clouds should be on ultra. They're okay. Texture synth should be on ultra. Waves, well, high. Terrain shadows, up you devil. Contact shadows, you devil. Depth of field, I'll leave that on high. Okay, let's see what happens here, shall we? And what we could do, we can go developer mode, save, options, display the FPS. So we're getting 50 or 45. Limited by our main thread, so it says. It seems fairly smooth. Godfather Collie says, what do you use to change your views? Keyboard or other tool? Mainly keyboard. I think you're overdoing the resolution, says Ed. Resolution, as in texture resolution. Okay, well, let's have a look. pretty much the same in frames. So with this frame counter here, as you adjust these, it should be live, right? So let's start tinkering here. Why do we bring these back down to 100 and see what that does? So 52 in the menu. Grain level of detail, bring that down. Volumetric clouds, bring them down to high, let's say. Texture synthesis, drop that down to high. Contact shadows, high. Windshield effects, that's okay. Ambient occlusion, bring it to high. Reflections, I like them. Light shafts, bring it to high. And see what that does. Go back, resume. Oh, yeah. 2 to 3 frames, maybe? It does seem to be kind of... Well, it seems smoother. Reset this button. Okay. So it's definitely smoother now, whatever we just did. A little bit jittery. But by and large, it's not too bad. Sim rate is controlled by OR key binding. Ah. Let's see here. Options. Let's see. Sim options words, display, wireframe, no, detail lens, distortion, volumetric clouds, PBR channel, metal. PBR channel, oh yeah. Asynchronously. We've seen that before. Windows, console. Bring up the console. So animation has no matching model, prop blurred. Okay, so this is kind of reading into the... Yeah, this is reading into kind of like the bells of the innards of the sim. So when you have a whole load of warnings and errors, they're not usually kind of a call for concern. It's just telling you what the system's doing. So it's giving animation problems, and it's to do with the prop. They appear to be... Okay, so model behavior. No matching animation. That's definitely an error. External door front has non-uniform scale. Is that for this aircraft? Animation has no matching model. Animation prop blurred. Okay, clear. And that had... Actually, I wasn't looking at my FPS before I cleared that. Cleared the log. Clear. Right, turned it off. So 58 to 60, and then if we get out of this view... Maybe clearing some of the log helps. That's kind of weird. Anyway, disappear you. Go back into our menu here and turn off developer mode, just to see what we can see. Alrighty, we're going to jump back out to the... What other menus or changes have they made? Cameras. Camera shake is on. Flashlight mode is auto. They're all okay. Sounds. Communications. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, they're all the same. Traffic. They're the same. Ships and ferries or leisure boats? I haven't seen any leisure boats. You guys see leisure boats yet? Ed says... All the posts say that high to ultra, not really, or no real difference. Not really. There are some subtle differences. But yeah, it depends really. Data. Bandwidth, that's okay. Flight model, that's okay. Miscellaneous. Did they add any new pilot avatars? No. Accessibility, they're all the same. Apply and save, why not? Assistance. So, oh, I wonder, they didn't take these off, did they? Automation. Brand failure, navigation aids, that's okay. Landing path, that was always there. Pilot controls and notifications off. Aircraft system off. User experience, they're all the same. So we'll notice, even though we've told the menu to turn them off, if you hover the mouse, it still comes up with the tooltips. That's annoying. I'd rather them turned off. Geek Burnley says, try locking your frame rate with Nvidia control panel to see if that works. You see, the stutters aren't in the sim. It's actually running really, really well in the sim. The stutters are on OBS. Ed says it was a gain of 9. Interesting. Spaceman 11 says, yeah, I saw speedboats. Ah, cool. Okay. 1.8.3.0. Controls. Have they done anything in controls? As Talk Cooloon or Talk Cool One, which makes more sense, is now subscribed to the channel. Many thanks, my dude. Really appreciate it. So we'll jump back here to the main menu. Turn our camera on, shall we? And we'll go to this screen. Hello, everybody. And we'll look for some background noise. Let's see here now. Something kind of... That'll work. Amanda says, "Let's go. Hope my Bonanza works after. Hope my Bonanza works after this update." Yeah. So let's have a quick look at some of the background settings, shall we? What's really strange is I'm getting encoding lags. I shouldn't get encoding lags. And to me, that sounds like it is a an OBS issue. Paul Garrett says there's a file that you can drop into the community folder that gets rid of the mouse over tooltips. Sweet. Ryan Tanner is here. Good evening to you, Ryan. Happy Wednesday, dude. Ivan says update completed while watching the stream, but I only required 11.5. Cool. Got Border Collie says, how many screens do you have? Just the 2. Now let's see, can we do some tidying up here in the background while this is all loading? Do. Yeah, like there's no updates for OBS. Which is what it is, I suppose. Process, yes, that's okay, that's all okay, that's all okay. Apply. Taco 1, panel brightness for Bonanza Garmin is under the co-pilot's yoke. The panels on the Bonanza are dim with the new settings. Ah. Bad Dog says, just started my upgrade download. King Lever says, you should have a camera over your setup during streams. I think I have it. Yeah, I have a webcam somewhere. I might do that. I don't know. That's just another thing I need to worry about. Now let's see here before we jump back into the world of the flight sim. Let's see what's really going on. Do. No, I think Restream is good and everything appears to be good. Andrew says, what airport are we going from, Murph? So we're going to start off in Granada. Lima Echo Golf Romeo. All going well. We're slowly but surely getting back into it. You can feel it from the music. Will it be the North server in Europe? Yes, it will. Blue Streak Simulations is here. How's it going? Black Rabbit says it's in general the tips option for the on-screen tips. Yeah, it doesn't seem to turn off though, which is kind of crazy. We have many likes tonight. Thank you all so much for all the likes. Philip Reed says LEMG doesn't show anything for me in the arrivals. Correct. So we were going to fly down to Malaga. So Malaga isn't in the sim. So we're going to go from Granada down to Leone Banabu, which is LEAX, Lima Echo Alpha X-Ray. Kenneth says it crashed again. Oh dear. Destination is going to be LEAX once we take off here from Granada, and then once we get down to LEAX, we're going to fly down to Gibraltar, or Gibraltar. Gibraltar. If you have an English accent, it's Gibraltar. So it says checking for updates again. So it's a good sign. And now it's most definitely not looking for updates. It's loading. Let's see what happens, shall we? Let's see here. Now, some music. Geek Burnley says you need some emotes. I have them on YouTube. I need to figure out how to get them over onto Twitch. Yeah, I still having coding problems. So what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, we'll take a 5-minute break. Because it's dropping frames and like the sim isn't even running yet. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, guys. I will have to... Colonel Fork says, I can help with the Twitch emotes. Colonel Fork, yes, thank you, please. If any help at all. Because I can't really do it. So guys, we're going to take 5 minutes. Because I'm going to throw a hefty sized boot into my computer to see can I fix things, and I might just need to start or restart OBS, and if I restart it now it shuts down anyway. So for the 5 minutes, refill your cup, take a trip to the bathroom if you have to, say hello to your significant other half or halves, or just hang on, and we'll jump back to you in a couple of minutes. So the stream will go offline, but fear not, I shall return. Todd Coleman says, the music is pairing well with my bourbon. I approve. Okay. I shall restart. See you in a moment.